Hello and welcome. Actually, my this show is called Stupid Questions, but I'm thinking about changing the name because it's not a great name for a brand. But my guest today is the Griff Green, who's the actually I can call you the representative of the DAO, right?
I mean, since it's a decentralized organization, I guess anybody's a representative of it. I'm definitely in it, and I know it pretty well.
Yeah, great. Because I'm hoping that you might we might cover some interesting and disturbing things about what is going on right now with the DAO.
Yeah.
And first, can you explain more and elaborate about what are you doing with in the DAO? Because you are quite involved. So what are you doing right now in the DAO?
Well, so I specifically work for SlockIt. I am their community organizer, and I wear a lot of hats. Of course, everyone does. It's a very small company, but and so I help a lot on the SlockIt side of things to I don't know, just communicate with the people about what's going on. Slockit wrote the DAO framework, which the DAO was created out of. But of course, the DAO framework is for any DAO. Anyone can create a DAO and they can call it whatever they want. This DAO has no name. I guess it's called the DAO. And that's it seems to be sticking for it. And so since my company wrote the code, I'm very knowledgeable about that, and since we also helped promote its use and helped get it started with everybody involved, since we know the code the most, we seem to be almost in this stewardship role slightly with the DAO, and we're trying to transition out of that because that's not where we want to be. We're kind of our goal is to work for the DAO, not be the curators of the DAO. The curators are supposed to be the stewards, and the DAO token holders are supposed to be the stewards. But that transition is uh, it's happening. We're working on it.
And okay, and the first thing, who came up with the idea with to name DAO the DAO? Because I think it was. It was mean actually because
It was
when I want to
mean.
yeah, it was mean because when I want to explain to anyone what is DAO, they always ask me about the DAO. So it's you know I thought it was done in purpose to make
No.
my life
The
miserable.
the purpose behind it was to allow the DAO token holders to decide the name. And so
Oh,
we were worried about saying, okay, we're going to call it, whatever, Jimmy DAO. Why not? And then that would be its name forever. And then Slockit came up with the name. We didn't like that idea. We really want the DAO to be as separate from Slockit as possible. And so we didn't even want to name the thing. We're just going to call it the DAO and let the DAO token holders vote on the name once it's been created. Of course, I don't
so
know. We'll
so
see how that
so
works.
so you are saying that I can make a proposal to change the name for I don't know, Stefan Dahl.
Yeah.
And if I and it, yeah, and if I collect necessary count of votes, I can change the name of the DAO, right?
I mean, technically you could, but unfortunately that's not written in the code in any way. So that's more of a cultural decision for the DAO token holders to rally behind. I mean, there isn't even what I really want to know is what's the name of DAO tokens? I call them DAO tokens. Some people call them the DAO tokens, and there
Yeah.
isn't really any. This is the problem with decentralized autonomous organizations. There isn't a central point of authority who says this is the answer. Pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah. And this is exciting because we are on the edge of innovation and actually I like sitting in the front chair because this is the place I want to be. Okay,
Yeah.
so the question: could you sum up the time of the financing of the collecting ether in the DAO, and how was it for you and the SlockIt team? Because I think it was a lot of work to do for you, and it was
Yeah.
exciting. But I would like you to tell us how was it, you know, from the backstage?
I mean, it was really crazy. It was absolutely nuts because we had no idea it would raise so much. And I mean, we didn't raise that money, of course. The DAO raised that money, and but we were talking about it and we were promoting it, and because this is how there's a lot of people who want to invest in SlockIt and our desire to build a universal sharing network, which is a really awesome thing. And the only way that we are going to do it, what we decided, is to use a DAO. And so the DAO was the path to be part of our project. And so I think that's why a lot of people at the beginning started putting money into the DAO. And when it reached 20, 30, 40 million dollars equivalent of Ether, it started not being about SlockIt at all. It clearly, SlockIt was almost just on the kind of on the backstory, and the real story is, hey, there's a really cool new way for humans to organize and interact with each other, and who wants to be a part of it? And so all of a sudden money just started flowing in, and it was really a little scary because, you know, we didn't expect this, and we honestly, we were not prepared to be the largest crowdfund ever, right? The largest crowdfunding project ever. No one really sets out to do that, and so we didn't either. So it was very you know, it's a bit humbling now to see people saying, no, the code should be a lot more better. This is really important. We didn't expect that, and we definitely were not expected to see the curators all of a sudden get really worried about this situation. So there's been the backstage is drama. I mean, it is a Ethereum soap opera. It is really fun though. It's pretty exciting to see all these personalities come out and who wants what. You know, some people write a paper, some people post on Reddit, some people are just quiet and we don't know what they're thinking. It's intense.
It's a mess, to be honest, because I'm trying to pick up some important stuff, some important information, but it's a lot of it, and there's a lot of people who like to who like to share the ideas and share the projects, and oh my God, this is getting quite messy, I think. And could you tell me what an ordinary investor in the DAO should observe to be on update? You know, where to find news, where to ask, who to ask, maybe, you know, some.
I mean, the best place is the DAO Slack, hands down. There is always somebody who's going to answer your question in real time. It's almost like a live help desk. If you go into any channel on the Slack, especially the general channel, you're going to find people who will chat about whatever you want to chat about, or if you need help with something, they will absolutely help you out. It's definitely the best place. If you want to talk in depth about one specific topic, I think the DAO Hub forums are probably the best place to go. If you want to debate a proposal, or you want to gather support for a proposal you want to actually ask the DAO for money to support, then that is definitely the spot, is the forums. But I think the Slack is really fun. I don't know if Slack seems to be taking off. SlockIt, that sounds like a good investment, but man, I think I want to invest in Slack too, because they're taking over social media. As far as I'm in like 20 Slacks or something. I have to turn down Slack invites. It's
Yeah, it's getting a lot of them. Yeah. Okay, but Slack is not actually. Slack is discussable, I think, in case of maintaining the information, because it's a constant flow of information, and
yeah,
you know.
it's more of a live help desk. If you want to review real things, it's all about the DAO Hub forums. You know, DAOhub.org, and there's a little forum button at the top. Let me see how to do that. There it is at the top. um, and then that's where a lot of the good discussion happens.
Okay. Okay, so as a normal guy, ordinary member of DAO, could you explain how voting works?
Oh.
technically? What happens to my vote? Because I voted on the proposal number 15 just to check if the voting works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and suddenly I discovered that something happened to my vote and I'm blocked.
yeah.
Yeah, what happened and
Sure.
how is it working? Yeah.
There's a couple videos that are gonna there's two videos that are gonna come out that will explain how to vote with the Ethereum wallet as it is, and how to vote with Mist, because I was able to get an early copy of Mist and show people how to vote on the interface. But even now you can convert the because voting on the Ethereum wallet was not made to be to use to vote. It just isn't. It's a wallet for storing DAO tokens. It happens to be able to do the voting, but it's really clunky. I still made a video to show people how to do it, and but the real goal is to use the custom interface. So before I go deep into voting, I want to talk about what SlockIt is doing with DAOs, because I think there's kind of a misunderstanding that SlockIt is just creating a DAO, the DAO, you know, that we created the DAO so we could get a bunch of money or something like that. That's not really true. We created the DAO framework because we needed a DAO for our universal sharing network to work. But while we were doing it, we got really excited about it. I mean, this is, to me, I think DAOs are a revolutionary tool for human organization. Of course, the cultural code that will support DAOs the best, that's still being worked out, and we didn't realize how important that part is. But the regular code is pretty solid, and it's all open source. And it's not just Solidity code. It's also videos that show you how to vote. Every video that we've made is completely generic for any DAO. The voting interface that we created for Mist, when you go in there, you can type in an address to any DAO. Someone can go deploy the open source code right now that created the DAO, create their own DAO, and you know, maybe the purpose of that DAO is to end world hunger, we'll say. Well, they don't have to do anything crazy. They just follow the wiki on how to deploy a DAO. They already will have a ready-made website that people can vote on easily. They'll have a ready-made videos to show people how the creation phase, even the creation phase video that we created is generic. It is made so that it can be used for anybody who wants to create a DAO for their own project. So
This is revolutionary, I think.
Yeah,
I hope that I see the future where I will have my own DAO, or even few of the DAOs, and I will work with other DAOs on the internet all over the world.
yeah.
So
And
it's fascinating.
the for-profit DAOs are, you know, okay, yeah, sure, that works. But what about just a non-profit DAO for your, you know, that is, the goal is to produce a project, like to produce your YouTube video, you know?
Yeah, I actually I thought about that. To start a DAO which makes my YouTube channel, and I will sell some tokens to represent value in my channel. Actually, this I think it's I think it's in near future that we all will have some DAOs, because
Yeah.
you can work as a DAO for SlockIt and for DDAO, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, SlockIt. So there is an issue, of course, with legal things. I mean, we're trying to be a real company because in the end, we're trying to work with real people, and there's regulatory compliance and doing all that stuff under the DAO framework. That is pretty crazy. So we're going to stay a German company. That's been decided. That's being a DAO is off the table for us. But for your little YouTube video channel, you know, that's not like, it's not like you got to worry about paying taxes or anything. You might make a little bit of money from YouTube, but that's it. So if that goes back to DAO token holders, I don't think it's such a big deal. And the people who hold tokens for your DAO, they could vote on what topics you want to cover for the video, and there would be real active participation, a decentralized, pseudonymous way to interact with your viewers and for them to support your videos. I mean, and that's just for videos. There's so many opportunities here. But I should probably get back to voting because that was quite the tangent.
Okay.
So, because voting is important, you really hit the nail with the hammer. I don't even know what to say, what the phrase is, but voting is something that's really scary for a lot of people, and so I'll go through it. So, when you want to vote, first off, vote wisely, right? You need to know what you're doing before you click the button. There's no way to undo it. Once you click yes and enter your password, that vote is cast, and there's no turning back. There are some drawbacks. When you vote, your coins are locked in that account. You can no longer send DAO tokens. You can no longer transfer DAO tokens from the account that has voted already until the voting deadline is up. So once the voting deadline ends, you're free to move your tokens as you wish. But until then, they're going to be stuck in your wallet. And if you send more DAO tokens to that same address, those will also be stuck in your wallet, and they will not be able to be used to vote for the proposal that you already voted on. Now if you do have a bunch of those tokens, you can still vote on other proposals that you haven't voted on, but so if someone sends extra DAO tokens in an address that they already used to vote, let's use numbers. So they had, because I'm looking at you and you're already like, what is going on? I actually made a pull request the other day to try to fix this so that once you vote, you can't send DAO tokens to that address, because that is basically the solution. Once you've voted, send DAO tokens to a new address. You can create as many accounts as you wish on Ethereum. It's very easy. The wallet makes that very simple. You just click new account, boom, and type in the password. It can be the same password, however you want to do it. But it's the advice. My advice is, once you've voted, do not send DAO tokens to that account anymore. You should have just like one account that is like, this is my voting account, and I will just assume that those DAO tokens are locked in there for 2 weeks, because until the voting deadline is up, then you can't move them. So okay, I'm rambling. I should be.
Okay. One question. Wait, one
Yeah.
question. You said that I should do the voting account. Yeah, I can. That's easy. I have one. And should I have always the same account, or do you I don't know, propose to have some new accounts to new votes? Because is there a difference, or just one account is okay?
One account is okay. I actually think that the best answer is probably to have like 3 or 4 accounts that you use to vote with. One with half, one with a quarter, and 2 with an eighth, right? So that you can be like, well, I really support this proposal, so I'm going to vote with all of them, all 4 of them, on yes on this one. This one, I pretty much support it, so I'm going to vote with 5/8 of my voting power. Uh-oh. Hi, Tom. I think we're taking people from the crowd.
Yeah. How is that possible?
I don't know. I saw Stefan come in earlier. That was cool. Oh, they're muted. Bye, Ta. If you do have questions, you can type them in this group chat too. We'll see them. I don't know. I can't show my screen, but on the right side there's a group chat. So if you are watching, you can just type in there, and we'll answer any questions. So voting. So every proposal has a 2-week voting period, and really the incentive is to vote kind of on the last day. So you are best. It's really cool that we have such a good voting turnout already. I know a couple proposals, or at least one proposal, already has over 5% of the quorum that there is required. To me, that's a great sign, because it doesn't really make that much sense to vote until the last day. and then that way you're minimizing the amount of time that your tokens are locked, and is blocked is true for your tokens, and then you also have that whole debating period to gather information about what that proposal even means, because most of these proposals don't are a little complicated. It's like the best proposal out there, or the most the one that really matters to me, that actually does something with the DAO, is the raising the proposal deposit to 11 Ether. And it's a really cool proposal, because if you go to the MIST interface, which is vote.daohub.org, you can go there on any browser. It's a website, an open source website that anyone can use, of course, and you can see pictures, links, bold and italics. You can basically, the proposal, when you send in the description, you can actually format it in any way that you want, so that it's attractive to the users, and so that they have more information, so they can click links and get more educated on the topic, so they can make a real decision. I think that we're going to see these proposals really take out. I mean, you could probably embed videos into them, and who knows what people will come up with. It's a very flexible thing. So
Yeah.
If you go to vote.daohub.org, you can see all the proposals, and you could even vote using My Ether wallet directly from that website. So there's lots of ways to vote, and right now voting with the Ethereum wallet is the recommended way, but MIST will come out very soon, and that will be the obvious choice.
Yeah, voting by the using My Ether wallet is actually it's freaking easy, I could say, because you just click vote and put your wallet out there, and so this thing is very useful. Okay, so what are the proposals we should be interested in? Like, I'm asking you because you're into it deeply, and what should I look into proposals?
I should probably go check it out, because the new ones come up all the time.
Yeah, there's more than 40 of them right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of those are split proposals, and luckily most of the splits are actually really small. The first splits have happened already, but they've been very small. Nothing that actually affects the DAO in any real way. I mean, most of them are just like test splits, just to see how it works, see if it's possible. Luckily, it's been very successful. It's very easy. As far as what proposals you should look for, you can in the MIST browser and on vote.daohub.org, you can see them all laid out, and you don't have to look at the split proposals, because there's no real split proposal that matters right now. But the first one that I think is the most important is the one that actually has bytecode and will make a change in the DAO, and that's raising the proposal deposit to 11 Ether. I'm not going to debate the merits and try to persuade people one way or another, but that is, to me, that's when I look at this, that is the only real proposal on here that will actually change something. The rest of them are kind of opinion polling the DAO token holders. So obviously there's a moratorium on proposals until the DAO contract is upgraded. That's one idea, but that has no real bearing on what will happen. But it's the most voted on proposal, and it is very it's a good idea. Like, people should definitely put their opinion down on that, because the curators will see it, and they will do it. There's another one that's going to be a landslide victory, which is returning the DAO tokens that were accidentally sent to the DAO. I believe that does have some bytecode. I think it does have some bytecode in it, but I'm not sure exactly how it works. It has been verified, but I haven't dived into it completely, but personally I don't understand exactly how it will work. Like, will a smart contract exist that shows people how to how to claim that they sent the tokens somehow. We'll have to talk to PS Dev about it. He's a really great guy, really smart guy. Maybe one day, I hope he becomes a curator of the DAO, because he knows this thing better than almost anybody outside of the SlockIt. So if he's backing the proposal, it probably has my support, but I haven't looked into it enough to actually cast a vote.
Returning the DAO tokens is actually the proposal. I think that if it comes through, if it's successful, I think it's going to be the first success of the DAO, because the possibility that the DAO made a decision, to return the funds, it's huge for me. I think it's a great success, and actually it's getting some votes.
Oh yeah, no, it's a landslide. No one's saying no. Everyone, I mean, there's 0.02% say no and 2.69% say yes. That's huge, considering that this thing still has 10 days left to be voted on. It seems like a landslide victory that they will, but it's very, if someone said, hey, this guy's president, 2% of the votes are in, I think he'd be laughed out of the building. So that's probably still the case with this. We'll see. It's a small sample size, but it looks promising. I really think that we underestimate the wisdom of the crowd here. The wisdom of the crowd on Reddit, yeah, that's pretty easy to question.
They are not engaged financially, because this is the game changer. Everyone is engaged financially, so everyone should be active and should be aware of what is happening. But
yeah, and like this proposal, you would think, oh well, we're incentivized to just keep the DAO tokens. Why would we give it back? We're the DAO. We should be greedy and steal. But I don't think that's an old corporate idea. That's an old idea that's based off of how corporations are created as, rent-seeking organizations. They need, for a corporation to survive, it has to, make profit, which is really good. There's this idea that money could just be thought of as happiness points, right? People give you money when you make them happy. That's really, when it comes down to it, then corporations should be a great thing. But money doesn't really work like that as much as we wish it did. And but I think the DAO and decentralized autonomous organizations in general will have a different structure. I think that the people that make up the DAO will be able to show what they think is right and their wisdom, and awesome things like this proposal will actually be able to happen, even though it's not exactly financially incentivized. There's also the reputation of the organization, of the DAO, that could be upheld, and it's like, oh, the DAO is a reasonable entity to interact with. And I think that's what we'll see, but we'll see.
Okay, I'm looking at the proposals, and I can't see the SlockIt proposal. Where is it?
Yeah. Well,
it was the purpose of doing the DAO,
Yeah, I mean,
and I've heard that there was some troubles and some conflicts. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we followed the guideline that we worked with the community to build, which was, you present your proposal on the DAO Hub forums, and then you verify that you own the keys, and then there will be a report given and then the community will verify that you are who you are. There's a little thread will form. People will debate whether or not this is a safe and secure way for the DAO to, if it's safe and secure for the DAO to interact with you. And then if that's the case, then the curators will get to vote. And they vote. So the curators, I should probably explain how the curator system works, because
you should.
Yeah, the curators are the curator of the DAO is a multi-sig contract. The DAO itself could be thought of as a multi-sig, a really complicated multi-sig, right? And that's the same with and if you understand the DAO, you could think of the multi-sig contract kind of like a DAO. The multi-sig contract is its own DAO that has 11 tokens, and it needs a quorum of 5 tokens to pass any proposal. So this DAO, this multi-sig contract, has this ability to add people to the whitelist. The whitelist is just a database. You know, it's just a little, almost like an Excel sheet. You could think of it like, and it has all the addresses that the DAO is allowed to create proposals for. So the DAO itself is on it. And that's actually it right now. The only proposals that can be created at this current moment are proposals that have the DAO as the recipient. The curators have actually taken an action already to remove themselves from the whitelist. When the DAO was created, at first the whitelist, which is just like I said, a little Excel spreadsheet. It's a database called allowed recipients, and the allowed recipients is the whitelist, and they can add and remove people from this, from this little database. And so they took themselves off because they don't want to get any money at this point, and having proposals being made to send them money was scaring them a little bit. So, but that's great, because that means the curators are being active. They have actually changed the whitelist, and so there's hope that they will change the whitelist again. But there's some concerns that the DAO is not able to make correct decisions. And there are some curators, specifically Vlad. He wrote a paper. He and some other people wrote a paper that was really critical of the governance system for the DAO. And I don't want to debate the merits of this paper because I'm SlockIt, and we're biased because we obviously want a proposal to pass. And so anything I say about whether or not the severity of those attacks are justified would be considered bias. But in the end, we're working with them with Vlad and his colleagues to come up with solutions that will solve these issues. So because in the end, everyone's on the same team. We all want a secure DAO, and now that this has reached $160 million, patience is a virtue, and we want a virtuous DAO. So we're going to be patient, and we're going to try to create something that everyone can get behind. The proposals so far, the way that we're changing it so far, is to create a pre-vote. Well, okay, I shouldn't really get into it because it's still being debated, but our thoughts on the matter are to create a pre-vote, so the curators won't whitelist anything until there's a pre-vote. And then if the pre-vote seems successful and it didn't seem like there was any crazy attacks happening, or it seems like it had the true, it seemed like it was a true decision from the DAO, then they'll whitelist the proposal, hopefully, and then a real vote can be made, and then at the end of that, they will only whitelist proposals. Well, at least this is what we're suggesting, so that to calm the fears of the curators, of a couple curators. Really, only a couple of them have supported this idea. So we'll really see what the rest of them have to say. But so there's a pre-vote, there's the real vote, and then for that real vote, the smart contract of the proposal says that it cannot receive any money for 3 weeks, so that in this situation where the DAO's decision was somehow flawed, that the DAO could make another proposal to undo their vote and not send any money to and get the money back that was sent to the proposal deposit, or to the proposal smart contract. So now proposals that we thought would only take 2 weeks are going to end up taking 7 weeks before a contractor receives funds, and that's a little
disappointing.
Yeah, it's not what we really want, but it's cautious. And there's a debate here. The security guys are saying, hey, there's no reason not to be as cautious as possible. And then the business people are saying, are you kidding me? Why would anyone make a proposal for something and put all their cards out on the table and then not be able to get funds for 7 weeks? And that's you know, and of course it'll take more than 7 weeks because there will be probably days in between and actually setting it up. So it's not the ideal situation that we were hoping to walk into. Me personally, I think the governance system is fine as it is. I really don't think that some of these issues that they're bringing up are real. They're not threats to the DAO. The question is it going to give the DAO a fair, a fair vote, a fair shake? And we'll see. But at the same time, I see $160 million in this thing as a huge honeypot, and I don't want it to get attacked. So if security professionals are saying that we should implement these changes, then yeah, let's go for it. In the end, I just want to build a universal sharing network. I don't really. The DAO is amazing. It blows my mind. I want an access-based economy. That's what I'm working towards, and whatever gets us there, gets us there.
Okay, so could you tell when can we expect the proposals from SlockIt?
No, I mean, because it's not in our power. We are working, we're doing our best to coordinate with the curators and try to help them, not as SlockIt per se, but actually as just people who wrote the code, so that we can test it and make sure that there is a safe proposal framework for everyone to use who wants to be a contractor to the DAO that the curators will whitelist. But right now, we really don't know what the curators think because a lot of them are quiet, and it's really hard because these. I think we have these awesome curators, but they're so awesome that they have other projects that are really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main problem, I think. They don't have much time. Actually, Vitalik is the curator, and I think he's so stuffed with other projects. And that how he can find any time to get deep into the DAO.
I mean, the most active curators are Vlad, who wrote the paper and is actually looking at the code and judging it on a game theoretical perspective, which is really great, and we really love it because it's only going to make the DAO better. And Alex Van de Sande, and they both have come out with great ideas that can be implemented for these things. But at the same time, they have their own projects. Vlad is working on proof of stake, and he's got to work on Casper. We're taking him away from working on Casper right now. And Alex Van de Sande is building Mist. I mean, we need Mist to vote. So we need Casper to really get the universal sharing network to be where we want it to be long term. In the short term, it will be okay without it, but in the long term, we need Casper. And I mean, we need Mist now. So so it's almost like the DAO is shooting itself in the foot by taking up the time of these curators. I really hope that we can. There's a proposal actually on Reddit and on the Slack to get some actual community members to become curators, who are really like I was mentioning PS Dev. He's a good candidate. There's many good candidates out there, and the curators themselves have already kind of taken steps in that direction to add a couple people that they think would be good curators. One of them is Yuri, I think is how you say his name. I'm so sorry if I don't know how to say your name. But he seems like a great guy, and another person is a woman to bring some diversity onto the table. Sherman, I believe is her name. I haven't talked with her much, but I'm sure that getting some normal people who might have time to look at things is much needed on the curator list, and I think that will solve a lot of these issues. Is just realizing that this is a real big project, and the curators actually have an important role, and it's not even really that well defined on exactly what they want to do because they get to define it themselves. The curators. It's almost like the three-party system that governments use. There's the DAO token holders. That is an independent party. They get to decide things on their own, and they have certain powers, right? Then there's the curators. The curators are an independent party. They're not. They own their multisig. DAO token holders can split the DAO and find other curators for their own things. But as far as the DAO, this curator multisig will be with this DAO forever. There's no way around that, unless you. Yeah, I mean, that will be on the code forever. So you can create a new contract and kind of like when Bitcoin does a hard fork and send all the money to a new contract. The DAO will still be there, but all the funds and all the DAO token holder, all the action will be in a new contract. Just like when Bitcoin upgrades, the old Bitcoin code still exists, but no one uses it. So you can get rid of the curators, but the curators are an independent party, and then you have contractors who are also independent parties, and they want to work with individual people. Hey, I think that's Ether Profit. Hey, buddy. The man with the memes.
Yeah.
He's awesome. The reason why we are here, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
hello, everybody.
Hey, he's made the Polish channel the most active of all the foreign channels out there. Of all the, I see my name mentioned all the time. I have no idea what's being talked about.
only the good stuff.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to Google it.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely good stuff.
Thank God.
I'm gonna silence you, okay, Michael?
Please. Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the sake of the discussion. Okay, could you? I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So could you tell us? Could you sum up the discussion about the parts of the roles in the DAO? So there's DAO token holders and there are creators, and the third party was I think it's proposal parties. Yeah.
Sure, contractors is what we call them. So let's say that there's a contractor who wants to create something. Okay, well, let's just say SlockIt. SlockIt wants to create a security proposal. So we think it'd be a good idea to have somebody who is the security lead for the DAO, a central point of contact that security issues and concerns can go to, and we were willing to have them on staff at SlockIt at cost. And we made a proposal to send us basically 8,000 Ether to hire a person who we haven't hired them yet, so I'll leave their name out of it. Who is an excellent option for this job, and that way Christoph can be freed up to actually work on the Universal Sharing Network and doesn't have to answer these emails all the time. But they're important. So anyway, so we have this is our proposal. We're going to do all the work for 1.1 to upgrade the contract for whatever bug fixes we think are needed. I mean, there's nothing critical, but there are some things that could help. For instance, blocking users from sending DAO tokens to an address that has already voted. So we'll do some upgrades for free, but we want to hire a security professional where that is his main task, is to deal with any security issues. And so that's our proposal. And now we have to get it approved by the curators. We created a formal process for this, but it seems like the formal process is going to change because the curators are weighing in, and they're thinking that they need different precautions. So now the process could be, it's still being worked on, still being debated with the curators, but it could be that as a contractor, we'll create a proposal to the DAO with the DAO as the recipient, saying basically what our proposal is, and okay, guys, vote. And if it reaches a percentage of yes votes that the curators like, then they will add us to the whitelist, and we'll be able to actually put our proposal to the DAO token holders to vote. So the DAO tokens holders had to vote on the pre-vote, and then they'll vote on the real vote. And then our smart contract will be funded by, once that passes that day, money will go to the smart contract proposal. But SlockIt will not receive any of the funds for 3 weeks. That way, If somebody thinks that vote was a bad idea, then the DAO token holders can effectively fire us before we receive any money, and take the money back, and that money will actually go into the DAO reward account, and it'll be divvied up amongst the reward tokens. So that would be how the process will work. Today, that's the idea today. I want to make sure that everyone knows that only a couple curators have weighed in and said this sounds good. So until a lot of curators agree, then we just have to wait.
Okay, so what should DAO token holders should do right now? Like just observe and vote on some proposals which are more or less significant, because most of them are just some polls or.
I wish I had a good call to action for the DAO token holders. You know, there's different options. If you happen to know a curator, you could ask him what he thinks about the framework and what people want. You know, what they need to whitelist proposals, because that's kind of the real question, and that's the main holdup for contractors. I mean, the DAO hasn't even been alive for more than a little bit over a week. So if it's even been a week, I don't even know if it's been a week. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been like 9 days. Feels like an eternity. But so it's not, you know, to expect these guys who are really busy doing amazing things for Ethereum to have this kind of turnaround. Is, you know, we just need to know where they're at, and then once the curators have decided this is a safe thing for the DAO, because I mean the most important thing is that everyone is calm and curious when they talk to anybody anywhere. There's no point in getting mad. Everyone is on the same team. We're all trying to do what's best for the DAO. So the curators, they're trying to do what's best for the DAO. SlockIt, we really want the DAO to succeed. Obviously, DAO token holders all want the DAO to succeed. So, you know, it's just going to take time. And people, I think this was better for the DAO. It's better that we do this now and really start ironing it out, the process and the cultural process that surrounds this whole project, than doing it later after mistakes have been made. So I really think that this little delay is going to help in the long run, and not just the DAO, but all the DAOs that are created after this. It'll be a really good exercise.
Yeah, I think this should be called the creation phase of the DAO.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just funding. Now it's the creation time, actually, because now you have to create the working flow of the DAO. Yeah.
No,
we have a question.
Right.
Yeah, we have a question from Camille. He's actually from the Polish channel, also from this.
Yeah, I see it. I can read it. It says, business outside blockchain are allowed to proposals. Of course, Camille, great question. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can create a proposal for any reason. I think the DAO token holders, because the DAO is a for-profit DAO, they will have to see some kind of incentive structure. So you can create any proposal you want, and if the DAO really loves it, then of course they'll fund it. But
yeah, actually, there's a proposal behind this question, because he told me the secret. There was a truffle field to crop truffles and seek the interest in this area of the business.
I personally think that it probably won't succeed, because I do think the DAO is going to be centered around Ethereum, and that's kind of the real goal behind, or that's what I perceive. And I think that your idea is really good, and it should have a DAO behind it, or it can have a DAO behind it. You don't. Let's see, truffles plantations with profit after 4 or 5 years. So 4 or 5 years is a long time to for the DAO to send.
Especially when
But that doesn't mean that you can't create your own DAO and have this project succeed, being backed by a DAO. All the pieces are there, and there's a very good community of people that if you can gather support from just one person who has even a smallest understanding of this project, they will be able to deploy a DAO. They will be able to help, the creation phase, and maybe even help you retrofit your DAO so it can be specifically for your task. You're going to need curators, and there's going to be some setup involved, but it's all the technical parts are practically just cut and paste. It's really surprisingly easy to deploy a DAO and edit the code and do all the work that you need to do to make your own DAO for this project.
It seems so. When you say that it's a copy and paste, for me it seems like this is so new that we cannot. We actually trying to come up with the idea how to use it first, and then to create it, because the idea is the most important in this, because we can just change all the limited equity companies, just make them DAOs, but it's not a point of that. Yeah, we need the idea first.
Yeah, the idea is the most important, and I guess I shouldn't say it's quite as easy as copy paste. Is a little more complicated than that. But well, so I have a digital currency master's degree, a master's degree in digital currencies, and I had to create a copy of Bitcoin, and I'll tell you that is a lot harder to create a cryptocurrency using the Bitcoin copy and paste method than using Ethereum. It is so much easier to just, here's the code, deploy it on the blockchain. So I can go through the steps really quickly on what you have to do. So you have to take the DAO code. So there's actually a gist file that you can copy and paste into the Ethereum wallet, and you deploy it, and you call DAO creator, and then you create a DAO creation thing, which you don't actually need to do if you use some other DAO creator and the exact same code as the DAO. But if you change the code at all, you need to create your own DAO creator. And so that's the first thing. You copy and paste the code, and there's a wiki that shows you exactly how to do this. But you copy and paste the code into the Ethereum wallet, create it, you call the function DAO creator, deploy the code, and then you have a DAO creator DAO. And then you do the exact same thing, and you add the address for the DAO creator into the function, into the constructor for when you create your actual DAO, and then you have a DAO that's live. That's it. So it's like clicking, 4 or 5 buttons, and you have to copy and paste twice, but it's pretty easy, and it costs about 75 cents. Oh, actually, probably about $1.50 because you have to do it twice. So for $1.50, you're gonna
have an international company, which is interesting.
So buy your Ether now, stock up, because it's gonna, you gotta save up funds for a while to start your own DAO, but you'll get there. And so if you do that, then now the real task is, how do people know about your DAO? No one can send you Ether unless they actually know about it. So before you do all that, you're probably going to want to have a nice groundswell, or at least have a couple people that want to participate that you know about, and then you can deploy the DAO and actually do it.
Okay, do we have some time?
Yeah.
Do you have time? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen that there's a lot of discussion about the liquid democracy model in the DAO. Mm-hmm. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we were writing the code for the DAO, there was a we knew the governance model needed to be improved. So we really wanted to focus on making it as secure as possible. And liquid democracy was our favorite idea for how we could create a delegated voting system, so that not all the DAO token holders need to pay attention and review every proposal. That just made a lot of sense to us. But the fact is, we're not the governance model guys. We're going to create really awesome, secure code, so that there's no risk of losing funds, or very little risk of losing funds. That was our goal, to create a secure DAO. and we knew that other people would come up with great governance structures that they would implement. So liquid democracy is a great one. There's futurarchy. There's Colony. I'm sure has their own ways to do these things. I think a lot of them will involve some kind of liquid democracy because the fact is, not every DAO token holder needs to vote. It seems antiquated, an antiquated model. If you trust somebody to be your representative, you could send some kind of voting token to them, and if at any time there's a vote that you really want to participate in, or there's something that you want to do, you can call back all of your voting tokens and vote yourself, and then send them back to the people that you trust to vote for you.
So we should expect some proposals about that in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, there are a lot of people working on the governance model for the DAO. A lot, and independently and coordinating together on the Slack, of course. So there's a governance channel, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah, governance improvement channel or something like that. So you can go there and talk about and see what everyone is talking about and how they want to do it. I hope that the DAO is willing to pay people to upgrade their code, personally, because it's a lot of work and the testing that's required is going to be really important. And that's the thing, I don't think that any of these ideas will happen in the next 3 months, 6 months. It'll be tough. These are real. It took to develop the DAO framework and get it fully tested. We really started making it our primary focus in December. And where are we? June? So,
oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, coding is not easy. It's really easy to just, hey, sit down, write some Solidity code, call it good. But if you want to put millions of dollars behind it, it better be tested, and it better be tested well by professionals that know what they're doing. So yeah, to think that these changes are going to happen quickly is probably not fair. That's just not how secure coding works, as I'm learning.
Okay, could you sum up the conversation and tell us what would you like to say to all DAO token holders? Like, imagine that every DAO token holder is going to listen to this conversation, and what would you like to tell them?
The universal sharing network is going to be awesome. That's what that's what I want to tell them. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We can't wait. Actually,
I was so excited to start working on that project. It's really too bad we have to keep focus on one step at a time and getting the governance model to the point that the curators feel great about it, and then we can go back to doing what we really want to do, which is creating an access-based economy for everyone to enjoy. Until then, yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, we got one question. I think it's going to be the last one. What do you think the Bastion DAO? How about the collaboration?
I mean, I think it's cool. I think the idea to create your own country with a DAO behind it, yeah, I mean, obviously, that's awesome. I can't say that I've done enough research to really dive into it. I know I have. I am in their Slack, of course, and I have offered some help here and there, but there's these projects take time. My understanding is they're going to try to take a city or an island approach. So there's an island off of Australia somewhere that looks really nice, and they would be able to work collaboratively with the local government there to create a DAO or create a city somewhere else. But I think they're still in the early seed development round. Like, they haven't really. I don't know enough, but I think that there's a lot of groundwork to be made on this before it's. In the end, I actually think that project is probably best served by it being its own DAO as well, and not being with the DAO. But I don't really know. Not my decision to make.
I think I might do some interview with them.
Yeah, they're really cool guys. I mean, I love their idea. There's this always this long the libertarian dream of having some kind of like ocean battleship or something, and seasteading, I think is what they called it. You know, creating your own little island of libertarian views. Oh, that's cool.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we should sum up. And okay, Griff. So thank you very much for the conversation. It was quite interesting. So I think we have to wait and try to help.
Yeah.
Try to reach some characters. Yeah, patient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I hope we're gonna hear you sometime in the future as it develops. And I hope this experiment is gonna be huge, and we're gonna change this world finally.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's already been a peaceful revolution, in my opinion. We're already there. It's, you know, no revolutionary act like this is going to go exactly as planned. You know, there's always going to be bumps along the way, and these are very overcomable. There's no critical errors. There's no major issues. So far, it's just trying to figure out the cultural, you know, cultural code behind the DAO is still being written, and anyone can be a part of it. You know, get on the forums, get on Slack, tell us your opinion, create proposals so that we can gauge other the people's opinion. Right now, it only costs 2 Ether, which is like $28 to create a proposal, and if your proposal is good and well worded, so that people will actually vote for it, you'll get your $28 back. You'll get your 2 Ether back. So I think that will be cool to see more polling proposals out there with ideas about how the curators are. I just hope everyone stays calm and curious when they're approaching people, whether it's curators, other DAO token holders, people on Reddit. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it was a great sum up, actually, to become calm and curious. This is the most important part for the DAO token holders right now, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Griff, thank you very much again, and I hope we're gonna hear you sometime in the future.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.